Well, I was just finishing up the mix on this video for this 59 Les Paul Jr. And I read one of the comments online. Somebody had said about that harmony guitar, that last video that I did on the harmony guitar, that it's kind of hard to tell what the pickups sound like when you're kind of saturated with multi-effects. And I agree. You're absolutely right. I got this multi-effects unit. I'm totally a telly straight up no effects kind of guy. That's what I've done all my life. I very rarely use effects for anything. And I got this ME25 Boss multi-effects unit that a buddy of mine laid on me there a few weeks ago. So, you know, I've been kind of like a dog off the leash, you know, trying everything under the sun. But realistically, I understand exactly what you're saying about let's hear the guitar, forget about the effects unit. Now, mind you, I will warn you that later on in the video I do use that effects unit. But here's the guitar, straight up, no effects, just right into my Lab Series amp. And I'll, you know, just play through some things, play through some chords. You can hear the intonation, of course. Here's your D chord. Now I do have something pre-recorded that I use the multi-effects unit to blow some single line stuff over, and if I remember, it's on the loop station. I'll see if it's still there. Hang on. I've always felt one of the best intervals to sort of display the accuracy of the intonation across the entire span of the neck is having a ninth on top, especially a minor ninth. So I'll do this progression like this. And I'll also use combinations of tenths, like. Here's a tenth with a descending bass line. there's your clean take on this 1959 double cutaway Les Paul Jr. I wanted to walk you through all the sort of geometric and engineering and intonation issues that needed to be dealt with this late 50s Les Paul Jr. So that is the original bridge, and I noticed when the customer had brought it in that this was way back, like it is now, in order to attempt to get it to play in tune. Well, it still didn't quite play in tune. I've swapped out that original bridge for this replacement bridge here, which has the sculpting, and it is now perfectly in tune. The actual thickness of this replacement bridge, it was too thick to fit into this cuff, which actually works in our favor. So I gradually, on my radius disc sander on the drill press, I gradually brought that thickness down until we had a solid press fit. And you can see, if you look at that bridge, this bass side is the one that's doing most of the work. This one is hardly even making contact. And yeah, you could pull it out and reset the posts, but it is, 59 Les Paul. You don't want to mess with it. So the customer will have the original bridge. Most important thing is when it's all said and done, it'll be perfectly in tune, and it'll be a dream to play. The thicker bridge has really indexed in there good and solid. This original bridge was kind of tipping up. Yeah, you can see it's distorted a little bit, had twisted over time. So this is a very good choice. The other thing I wanted to mention is the reason that I have that tape on there. For anyone who's ever tried to put a notch in one of these bridges, well, your file wants to just skate. So by putting that tape in there, I take a super sharp pencil, mark on either side of the string, loosen the string off, and then very gently file out for each string. If you look at the top, this is the same bridge. We have a little bit of width to play with, and each of those strings except the G is the only one, the back side of the G lined up perfect. I did not have to file it. All the other 5 strings needed to be coaxed slightly forward or back to get this to line up 100%. And that's kind of the skinny on the whole bridge issues. So this is it. This is our double cut single pickup Les Paul Jr. There is our polished bone compensated nut. This is what we had to do to get this guitar to line up as far as intonation goes. Gibson didn't get it right on this one. That post should have been moved back about a ½ an inch. But anyway, the bass side of the bridge is a good solid press fit onto the post, so it's actually super stable. And it's a sculpted bridge, so this is intonated, you'll hear in a second. Just wanted to kind of show you the guitar before I get started. The other thing is, big thick body, there's no beveling, this is just cut on a bandsaw, sanded out, and that's it. No beveling anywhere on this guitar. I think the saving grace for those posts is they go in almost full depth of the body. Much deeper threaded insert and much taller posts than you would normally get. And I think that's why we ended up getting that kind of stability even just with the one side of the bridge press fit. Now the actual bridge was too thick to begin with, so I worked it down until I had a perfect press fit. And of course we've got all new frets. These are an 85 45 fret, 45 thou high, 85 thou wide. Pretty close to an identical match of the original frets. The fingerboard is corrected now, and what I mean by that is we took more material off this end. When the guitar came in, there was way too much load on that truss rod. So now this guitar has complete adjustability. These are 10 to 52 strings, but you can put any gauge of string you want on this guitar, it'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know what the story is on this headstock. It looks like somebody's dog chewed on it or something. I have no idea, and I've got no idea what all those spots, it looks like somebody dropped muriatic acid on it or something. The main thing is, all the stuff that counts, the stability, the tunability, and the playability is right up to snuff. Let's have a listen. This is the ME25. Harmonized thirds, it's like Boston in a box. These 10 to 52 strings are fantastic for this guitar. You can really chunk out the chords on this. Well, you know, you got to hand it to that design. You can get at every single fret, no issue, right to the top fret. And of course, by not having that pickup, we got this big honkin' tenon and mortise joint. This is a very solid neck joint. This has a lot to do with that incredible sustain and attack that you get out of these bridge pickup only Les Pauls. So 1959, this one's been around the block. There's plenty of war wounds on this one, but all the stuff that counts is there. Overall simplicity of the single pickup guitar. I mean, it's a fantastic lead guitar, great rhythm guitar, super versatile. I'm just kind of flicking through this ME25 and searching for some other sounds. Ooh. Okay, here's the big chunkin' tank tone Gibson. So I'm experimenting with my new Boss ME25 that Darcy laid on me a few weeks ago. Having fun with this thing. So it's G minor 9, C minor 11, and then D7 basically. So I'm cycling that. So I'll let that play. There is our fingerboard radius. I use the same sanding blocks that I've been making up for my students for years. This is a tracing I took off the fingerboard before we even started, and that is the radius that we got all the way along. A perfect match. I'm about to show you the real reward for taking all this extra time cutting the frets to length, beveling, and polishing the ends. Now that it's time to put the frets in, you'll see it's the easiest part of the job. I have a leather-lined lead weight, and I hold that under the neck junction of the body, so the space between the rails allows me to get right in underneath the guitar to support that joint. To offer the inertia that we need against that hammer blow. This is a 1 pound dead blow hammer. As we get closer to the neck assembly, it'll take over. I think I'll probably support that one last time. So you can see not a lot of resistance to that file because we did our due diligence ahead of time. Six. Fifth string. Third string. Open. And first fret. Second string. First string. So I just wanted to give you a quick wrap up on this one A to Z, what we did. Gibson obviously got that post in the wrong place. Way back then, they never had it right. So that's how far back we had to pull this to get the intonation to line up. This replacement bridge, the actual thickness of the bridge, it didn't fit into the cuff, which is a good thing because it allowed me to actually work it down on the disc sander and the drill press disc sander and to get a perfect press fit, because you can see this isn't really doing much. I mean, that's as far back as it goes, so we're really depending on the cuff on the bass side to stabilize this bridge, and that's what it does. Now luckily these fasteners are much taller than the typical fasteners that you buy now, and they go way deep into this big thick mahogany body. So that's super stable now, no issue at all. And we managed to get just a little bit more clearance for that pickup on the treble side. Action is a little closer, and you did see how we leveled out that Brazilian rosewood fingerboard and did a complete refret. When the guitar came in, that truss rod was cranked to the max, just about ready to snap. So in correcting the fingerboard, I loosened the truss rod right off completely and then turned it until it made contact and gave it 1/3 of a rotation of load. So now this neck is 100% adjustable. It'll never be an issue for years to come. Everything happening just with that one bridge pickup. That is the finished and polished compensated bone nut. And these are the new frets. And that is the retrofitted bridge. Gibson should have moved that treble post back at least 1/2 inch. But that's okay, because we got a working unit now.